Welcome to the deep dive. We get straight to what matters, and today that's the hiring landscape. If you're coaching people through interviews, or maybe you're looking for a job yourself, things feel, well, different lately. How do you keep up?
It's definitely a challenge. The way companies find and, assess people is changing really fast. Technology is a huge part of it, and just the sheer scale of everything.
Exactly. Which is why we've been digging into a whole range of sources for this deep dive. We've got stuff from the World Economic Forum, Fortune, Forbes.
DRE, the predictive index, Ask the Headhunter,
Yeah.
even some great YouTube content from career thought leaders.
Right. And our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you the critical info on how AI is hitting hiring and negotiation, and crucially, give you strategies that work now, whether for you or your clients. So let's jump in.
Okay, first up, this widespread use of AI in recruitment. It's huge. The World Economic Forum says over 90% of employers are using automated systems now.
90%. Wow. That's almost everyone.
Pretty much.
And you see why when you hear the numbers, right? Like Goldman Sachs getting hundreds of thousands of applications, Google getting millions.
Exactly. Humans just can't sift through all that manually. It's become a necessity for that first pass, that initial screening.
But these systems, they're mostly looking at resumes, right? Stuff candidates write themselves.
That's generally true, yeah. And the World Economic Forum does point out, that the info isn't always perfectly accurate or complete. Self-reported data has its limits.
So are we worried about good people getting missed? If their resume doesn't hit the right buzzwords?
That's definitely a concern people raise. But interestingly, the forum also talks about a newer thing, conversational AI interviewers.
Conversational AI. So, like, you talk to the AI.
Sort of, yeah. It's designed to have a real-time dialogue. It tries to assess skills, how you think, not just what's on paper.
Hmm. How does that actually help, though?
Well, the idea is it gets at real competence. It asks questions, maybe follows up based on your answers, so it's less about your background maybe, and more about what you can actually do. Okay, which could be good for people with, say, non-traditional backgrounds or career changers.
Hmm.
It focuses on skills over pedigree, potentially.
Right. A more direct skills assessment. The World Economic Forum mentioned some Stanford research on this. How effective is it?
Oh, yes, the Stanford study. They compared people who did traditional resume screening versus those who had these AI interviews.
Mm.
The results were, well, pretty striking.
How striking.
Candidates who did the AI interview were significantly more likely to succeed in the next round with human recruiters, like 53% success versus about 28% for the resume group.
Whoa, okay, that's a massive difference. So the AI is actually better at picking people who will impress the humans later.
It seems that way. The study also looked at the quality of the AI interviews, found they were actually better than initial human screens on things like conversational quality, relevance of questions, and consistency.
Consistency. That seems important for fairness.
Very. And interestingly, the research suggested that younger candidates, people with less experience, and women actually benefited more from this AI approach.
That's really encouraging, especially if you feel like the traditional resume game isn't your strong suit. And I guess there are efficiency benefits, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Big time. The WEF analysis points to potentially huge cost savings, like up to 87% reduction in some cases.
87%!
Yeah, because you streamline that initial screening, frees up human recruiters to focus on, the deeper stuff, cultural fit, nuanced skills.
So AI does the volume, humans do the depth. Kind of makes sense. What about the experience for the candidate, though? Is it weird talking to a bot?
You'd think so, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But the WEF found user reviews suggesting many candidates actually prefer it to sending a resume into a, quote, black box.
Really?
Yeah, it feels more interactive, more transparent somehow, even if it's AI. And looking ahead, AI might also help with workforce planning, matching skills to future roles.
Hmm.
But the forum stresses it has to be done ethically. Transparency, bias prevention, keeping candidate trust, that's all crucial.
Absolute critical. Okay, so AI is definitely here and shaping things. For the coaches and job seekers listening, how do you actually prepare for these AI interviews? Career thought leaders had some advice on this.
They did. They highlighted how common these one-way video interviews are becoming, where you record answers alone.
Right, the pre-recorded ones.
But also, AI scoring is happening even in live Zoom interviews now. And AI might be analyzing things in the background.
Even live. Okay, so what's it looking for?
Career thought leaders broke it down. Things like speaking clarity, using the right keywords from the job description, your facial expressions like eye movements, smiling.
Smiling, seriously.
Yeah. And sentence length, tone of voice, speed, word choice. Some even try to assess personality traits, like the Big Five model. plus ID checks, maybe even mood or honesty based on micro-expressions.
That is a lot. And you mentioned facial scoring. I thought some companies stopped that.
Well, HireVue did remove it in 2021, reportedly. But career thought leaders cited recent surveys showing many systems still collect and use facial recognition data.
Which brings up bias concerns again, right? Especially for, say, neurodiverse people or non-native speakers.
Exactly. Nonverbal cues can differ so much. An ERE article specifically talked about the challenges for autistic individuals with video interviews. Facial analysis tech just isn't perfect and can be biased.
So what practical tips can coaches give clients facing these AI video interviews? What did career thought leaders suggest?
Okay, so practice storytelling. Helps with pacing, clarity, a neat trick. Focus on finishing your words, especially consonants. It naturally slows you down.
Finish the consonants.
If you're naturally monotone, practice vocal scales. Increases your range, makes you sound more engaging.
Makes sense.
And if you're quiet, practice speaking bigger, gesturing more, then dial it back. If you're loud, practice being softer. Be mindful of inflection. Try for a downward tone at the end of sentences.
Like you're stating something confidently.
Exactly. And practice on camera. Look at the lens, not your own face.
Yeah.
That simulates eye contact.
Good tip. Any tools to help?
Yeah. They mentioned Udly and Higher Logic. They give feedback on your speaking keyword usage. You can even use generative AI, like ChatGPT, to analyze your recorded practice answers against the job description. See if you're hitting the key points.
Using AI to beat the AI. I like it. And that ERE article about autism mentioned accommodations.
Right. Super important. Things like asking for more time, allowing multiple takes for recordings, ensuring the AI isn't penalizing communication differences, sharing guides beforehand.
And asking that crucial question, do you need any accommodations?
Yes. That needs to be standard.
Okay, so that's the AI side. But traditional interviews aren't gone, and negotiation is always key. Ask the Headhunter has some strong views on behavioral interviews.
Oh yeah, Nick Corcadillos. He's not a huge fan. Often calls it HR hocus pocus. Questions of answering, tell me about a time when actually proves you can do the job now.
He compares it to that investment warning, right? Past performance doesn't guarantee future results.
Exactly. His big thing is pushing for what he calls the working interview.
The working interview.
Yeah, and instead of just talking, actually do something relevant to the job during the interview. Solve a problem, analyze a case study, a mini project.
Oh, don't just tell.
Precisely. He argues it's a much better way to see someone's real skills in action.
Makes total sense. But if you do get those behavioral questions...
His advice is try hard to interview with the actual hiring manager, not just HR. And be ready to pivot, to say, look, instead of just talking about it, can I show you how I'd approach this task for your team?
Proactive.
Very. Though, knowing methods like STAR or CCAR, which a commenter mentioned on his site, can still be useful just to structure answers if you get stuck with those questions.
Good backup. Okay, let's switch gears to negotiation. Salary, compensation, crucial stuff. Career thought leaders and Barbara Corcoran had points here.
Absolutely. Career thought leaders really stress that employers often expect you to negotiate. Data shows they build it in.
I expect it. That's good to know.
Yeah, and other data, like from Fidelity, shows a lot of people who do negotiate actually get more money. So it pays off.
Okay, so don't be afraid to ask.
Right. And find a style that feels like you. There's no single right script. Authenticity matters.
And research is key, obviously.
Absolutely critical. Career thought leaders mentioned using AI tools, Perplexity, ChatGPT, to research salary ranges from good sources. Know your market value.
Makes sense.
Also, research the company's pay structure if you can. Ask smart questions early on to figure out your leverage. And practice. Role-play negotiation scenarios. You can even use AI for that now.
Practice negotiating with ChatGPT. That's interesting.
Yeah, build decision trees, see different paths, record yourself practicing, get feedback. Barbara Corcoran echoes this. She says, quantify your contributions with hard data and know the market rate cold. Don't just wing it.
Build your case. Makes sense. Fast Company had some specific negotiation tactics too, right?
Yeah, some good reminders. Avoid weak phrases like, is it okay if I ask for? Just ask. Know your walkaway number beforehand.
Your absolute minimum.
Right. Use silence sometimes. Let them fill the gap. Always follow up in writing if you agree on something. And keep it professional, even if it doesn't work out. Don't burn bridges.
Good advice. And Forbes noted small businesses are getting more transparent with pay ranges and listings.
Yeah, that's a positive trend. Helps everyone know where they stand earlier.
Definitely. One last thing that Steve Jobs Question Inc. highlighted, Why are you here? It's simple but deep.
It really is. He wasn't just asking about the job. He wanted to know your drive, your motivation. Do your personal goals align with the company's mission?
Yeah.
He felt that was key to engagement and commitment.
Goes beyond just skills. Coaches need to help clients articulate that deeper why.
Exactly. It's about that connection.
So wrapping this all up, key takeaways for coaches, for job seekers navigating all this.
Okay, number one, get comfortable with AI in hiring. Understand it, prepare for it, practice for all interview types, AI or human.
Got it.
Number two, don't forget the human element. Connection still matters, maybe even more now. Be authentic. And finally, negotiate strategically. Do your homework, know your value, practice your approach.
Embrace AI, stay human, negotiate smart. Sounds like a plan.
Pretty much.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. As AI gets more and more embedded in how companies hire, how does that uniquely human stuff, connection, purpose, your individual value, how does that become your biggest advantage? How can you or your clients really lean into that to stand out? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.